So unless you've been living under a rock for the past 8 months, you've probably heard of ArieForce One, the 154-foot, $13 million roller coaster coming to a parking lot with some fair rides. No, it is literally a parking lot with some fair rides and a couple go-kart tracks. Anyway, this ride looks amazing. It is my most anticipated ride for the new year. Now you might be wondering, Chase, ArieForce One is half built and was announced 8 months ago. And well, my friend, this channel is only 2 weeks old, and this is when I decided to make my analysis of ArieForce One. Here are the stats. This ride is 154 feet tall with an 146-foot drop at 83 degrees. It'll go 64 miles per hour and will be 3,400 feet of RMC goodness. It will also have 4 inversions and will run 2 5-car second-generation RMC trains that will each hold 20 passengers. Why 5 cars instead of the normal 6? I have no idea, but it's probably because Fun Spot Atlanta is a parking lot with some fair rides and does not need the higher capacity, at least yet. The ride layout goes like this. You leave the station and go down a small drop into a couple bunny hills. After ascending the 154-foot lift hill, drop down 146 feet at 83 degrees. After that, enter the first inversion, the first ever Raven Tusk dive, or a glorified dive loop. This inversion starts off as an off-axis airtime hill before whipping you upside down and dropping from underneath you. After that, you head into an ejector speed hill while turning left. After a good dose of laterals, head into the longest zero-G stall in North America. Not America, North America. I don't even know if there are any zero-G stalls in Canada or Mexico, but whatever. Anyway, this element looks pretty good. I've done a couple of them, and they are awesome. After that, an outer banked airtime hill. I've done one on Iron Gwazi, and this is just a longer version of that, so best element on the ride? Maybe. After that, go into a double up. The first hill looks to give a strong pop of ejector, while the second hill looks to give some sustained ejector. Then you go into a barrel roll over the arcade, which is pretty much the Mosasaurus roll on Velocicoaster, but instead of going over water, you go over a building. After that, go into what is probably the most intense section of the ride. A second outer banked airtime hill. A second. 2 on one ride. Who does that? Who puts 2 outer banked airtime hills on one ride? That's insane. This one looks to give some very strong ejector airtime, even though ironically being named Fakey Airtime. After the Fakey Airtime that better give some good airtime, head into a quick transition into a low to the ground turn that will pull 3.75 Gs. Gs. See what I did there? Then you go into a fairly slow heartline roll that should probably give some good hang time. Then the finale. A small bunny hill that goes into a chili dip, which is pretty much the pull out in between 2 tiny bunny hills on top of a building, that goes into a quad down. Yes, you heard me right. A quad down. This ride has everything. It has a dive loop, which, I mean, I don't really care, but it has some good airtime at the beginning. But it has a zero-G stall, the longest in North America, 2 outer banked airtime hills, I love those, a double up just for good measure, a very quick zero-G roll over the arcade building, another one that gives good hang time, 3.75 Gs, turnaround, and a quad down? What? What? I know I've known this layout for like 8 months now, but this still amazes me every time I really think through it. It has everything. After that quad down, hop up into the brake run, make a small right-hand turn, and then pull into the station, ending your 100-second long ride. This ride looks like RMC took the best element from all of their rides and put them together into one. I think that's exactly what they did. Anyway, there are a few things, though, that I wish they would have done. Number 1, raise the hill right before the quad down so that it would have been the world's first quintuple down. Like, seriously, they need like 3 feet. Like, that's not really that hard, is it? They probably could have done that. Number 2, make the last 2 hills on the quad down be off-axis, kind of like lightning rods. I mean, it speaks for itself. Off-axis so that it does not feel very repetitive because it is 6 hills in a row. It also would have been cool if they added a wave turn, maybe like when you came back over the arcade, but it does make sense that they did not do it because that is Twisted Cyclone at Six Flags Over Georgia's main draw, and it is right down the street, so that does make sense. Now the question that you've all been waiting for. What do I think of the name? Well, as an aspiring pilot, I love the theme, and I do like the name because of its meaning. ArieForce One does kind of sound like a generic name, but in the end, it is just a name, and the GP will always call it ArieForce One. It is pretty creative, so I'd say I like it. Overall, this ride looks to be insane, and expect it to be in my top 10. At least. It'll most likely be in my top 3, if not top 5. I'm very excited to see what Fun Spot will do to this park, and happy that Atlanta will finally be getting a second amusement park. Anyway, thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to have a thrilling rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.